Hello, hello again. Hi. Uh, so this is session is relating to the advanced financial reporting. Basically, we have just checked what are the reportings available over here. Let's say we call it as balance sheet, profit and loss, the executive summary, trial balance, journal ledger. Everything is available over here. So let's say. But before starting this, you can just scan this QR code if you have any questions relating to the same. In this session, we are going to check how you can just create, edit your accounting reports as per your requirement. So basically, this is related to the functional side only. If you're not used to the technical side, you can having the admin rights of your database. What you can do is you can just go to the settings over here, change the accounting reports. So I'm just going to show you how you can just create and edit the accounting reports as per the requirement. Let's say for this, we are just going to take few examples, so we'll be able to understand how this changing and editing the accounting report works over here. Now, the first thing, let's say if you want to change any of the accounting reports, basically you need to enable the debug mode, the developer mode over here. So how you can do that is, let's say this is my database. What I need to do is I just need to go to the settings. And in settings all the way down over here, there is option where you can activate the developer mode. So once we activate this developer mode, okay, I can go back to the accounting module over here. Under configuration, I'll be able to see a option which is called the accounting reports. So basically, this is the list of the reports, all the reports which is available. Let's say it might be the tax report, TDS report, anything, which we can see over here under the reportings. Now, in this, the first thing which we'll check is how you can add a line. Now, to illustrate this, I'll just take an example. Let's say if I open a duplicate tab over here, so I'll just open one of the report, let's say executive summary. So basically, this is the executive summary which is by default available. I'll just zoom in. Okay, this is by default available over here. Okay. Now, as we are going to check how you can add a line over here. So basically, what line means? So all these things, let's say cash received, spend, surplus, closing balance, are the lines of the accounting reports. And the second thing would be the columns. Columns is the balances. Okay. The multiple columns can be there. I can, to give you a reference, I'll just open one more account. Basically, this is the partner ledger account, where you can see multiple columns are there, along with the multiple lines. Okay. Now, going back to the executive summary. Let's say this is a standard report. We are just exploring this. Let's say in balance sheet, which is one of our items, there are multiple options available. Let's say receivable, payable, net asset. Assets is also there, but the liability is missing. So let's say I want to just add a liability. Basically, in net asset, the setup of asset and liability would be available. But apart from that, I want to see asset and liability as a separate thing. So how I can just add a new line over here in the standard report which is available. So now as we have just checked, we can directly go to the accounting reports. The second option where you can go is, we are in the report which is called executive summary. There is an action button call over here. You can directly click on this. You can check over here, multiple options are there, line, columns, options. Here are the lines we can check. So under balance sheet, we can check this, assets is there. Net asset is there. Now let's say I just want to add a new line over here. How can I do it? There is option, I can add a line. The first thing which you need to define over here is the name of the line. So for the reference, I'll open the same report in a new tab, again under executive. So we want to add a line which is called liabilities over here. So I'll just name it as liability. No. It is asking as a parent line. So second thing which you need to define is what is the parent line over here. So as we check the report over here, the balance sheet, which is highlighted in a dark color, is called the parent line of each and every of the lines over here. So let's say if you want to see any of the lines under a specific parent line, we need to define this as a parent over here. So basically this is balance sheet. We need to define under balance sheet, we want to say this liabilities. Now, then there is a code. Code basically is the identification of this line. We need to mention the code. So code should be unique for each and every lines. We just need to add a code. Let's say we'll just take the same name as liability. Okay. Now there is an option which is called foldable. Foldable basically is, let's say again, if I go to any of the reporting, which is let's say profit and loss. I can unfold this. So this is the option which is called as foldable or unfoldable. You want to see multiple accounts, multiple partners under a single line which we have created. Let's say we are adding a liability over here. We also want to see multiple chart of account which is under that liability. We can set it as foldable. Okay. Then print on a new page means the same thing. The only liability columns would be printed on the new page. Hide if 0. Let's say if we go back to any of the reporting. So currently, if there is a line which is 0, if we have just tick mark that hide at 0 option, it will just remove the line in the reporting. Now, the group by option is also, the group by will check at the later part. Then there is the label option. So basically how label works is, label is, let's say, I'm creating any report. So the highlighted part, the first line is called the label 1 or label 0, we can define. So label 0 will come to the near, on the left side, under which if you want to define any further line, we can define it as the label 2 or 3, and further that we can define as label 5 or 6. Let's say in our example, while editing the executive summary, we want it at a level of, not at the 0, but let's say in the 2, 3 or something like this. We can define over here, let's say it is level 3. We'll just keep it as it is. The sequence. So sequence basically is where you want to see the line under which place. So basically, let's say sequence means each and every line. Currently, I think our line would be under a sequence which is 15 to 16. I can check any of the other lines over here. Let's say I open executive summary. I'll just check in the current existing report. Let's say asset is at the sequence number of 15. So I want to see liabilities below asset. So I can define over here. Let's say at under 15, I can define 16. Or even I can define 15 to check at the same level. No. Okay. So once we have added each and every things, which is basically the code, the parent line, everything, we need to define the formula that how to fetch the details of this line which we have done. Okay. How we can define the formula is, let's say there is option, you can add the expressions. So expression, again the same thing, which needs to be unique. So why expression is needed is, let's say if we are going to create any column, which we have just defined over here. If you want to create any column in our reporting, which is balance, you need to keep the expression as a balance. Then only it will give a values under the balance report over here. Let's say we will just take the same name, balances, computation engine, computation. Okay. Now, whenever you are adding a line, there is multiple options that how you want to calculate the values under that specific chart of accounts. Okay. So what you can do is you can yes, use multiple options, which is to compute the engine. The first is the Odoo domain. Domain means you just need to give the reference of the domain of the chart of account which you want to see over here. Other than that, you can use the tags option. If you have mentioned the tags over there in the chart of account, you can directly use this as a reference to put the values over here. Now, aggregate of other formulas. Aggregate means there would be multiple formulas. You can just combine the formula. Let's say asset liabilities. The net assets has been calculated as asset less liabilities. So aggregate formulas has been used. If you want to see each and every example of this, you can directly go to the executive summary. Just go to the executive summary. In the lines, already the existing lines, you can just open any one of the line. There is already some domain. The aggregate formulas will be available. So if you want to see any example, you can directly go to this place. In our case, we'll just use domain. Let's say balance, and we'll take this with the help of a domain. We'll fetch the details of the liability with the help of a domain. Means what domain actually means is, let's say there is a list of the chart of accounts. I'll just go to the list of the chart of accounts. I'll just open any one chart of account. So there is an option which is called types. Basically, I just want to see the types. I'll just zoom out. Okay, if I hover over here. Okay, so if I hover over here, I'll be able to see the domain of each and every types of the liabilities which you want to see. So you can see the list of the selections over here. As currently in our case, I want to take the liabilities, which is available under the current liabilities. The domain name is also available over here, which is the liabilities _ current. So here I just need to put that all the chart of account, which is of the type of current liabilities, needs to be reflected over here. So I can directly do this. Let's say how. I'll just go this. If you don't know how to write domain, for that also what you can do is for each and every lines there is already a predefined domain set. Let's say I'll just go to any one of the line where domain is set. Where, let's say for example receivable. I'll just copy this domain. I'll just paste it in our existing. What I need to change is I just need to change the type, which is currently it is for assets. I want for liabilities, so I'll just go where here as liability underscore current. Here, as I want to see the sum of each and every chart of account, I need to define the sub formula as summit. Now, I'll just save this. Okay, again. I'll just save this and go back to our executive summary. Let's say a new line has been added. So simply like this, by taking the example of the existing reports or going to the, let's say the accounting reports, you can simply add a line if you want to just explore the new lines in your existing features. If you want to see multiple reports in a multiple levels, you can just directly add a line over here. Now, second thing would be adding a column. So we have already checked how you can add a line over here. Now, let's say what if we want to add a column besides this, how we can do it. Now, let's say for this, we are going to take the example of profit and loss. So basically, this is our profit and loss account. Okay, this is our profit and loss account. So basically, currently that balance is available. But besides balance, I also want to show the comparison in the terms of percentage, the ratio percentage, the expenses in relation to the income. What will be the expenses in total relation to the total income? Let's say, for example, our income is 100%. Then what is the percentage of expenses which we have done over here? So yes, we can directly add a column over here. So for that, what we need to do is, again, the same thing. We just need to go to the configuration, accounting reports, search for profit and loss, the report, open this. Here in the columns, let's say we want to add a ratio. We can just define a ratio. Expression, the same name, ratio. Expression needs to be unique, as we'll just take the same name as the expression label. Here we can define under which terms you want to see our column which we have added. We can define over here, let it be the date, float integer, or let's say in the percentage also. As it is our ratio, we'll just add a percentage over here. Now, we have added a percentage. Now, if I just go back to our profit and loss, refresh this, a new column will be added. But to define the values over here, we need to define the values in each of the lines. Let's say we have already added a column, but how will we just fetch the details of this ratio? We need to define the same over here. Let's say we'll just take any one of example. Let's say total expenses. We want to add the percentage, that how many percentage is the expenses in terms of the income. Basically, expenses divided by income into 100, which is our percentage. We can add the same formula over here. We just need to go to the reporting, under expenses. We can add a line over here, which needs to be reflected under ratio. We can add ratio. Here we can use aggregate of other formulas. Okay, how we can use aggregate of other formulas is, let's say we just go to the profit and loss. What we need to aggregate? The first is, expenses. We want the balance of the expenses. So how we can fetch the balance of the expenses over there is, the first is the code and the expression. We need to take the combination of both of this. So what we can do is, we can just go to the formula. Let's say in the bracket, we'll just write the same code dot expression divided by the incomes, obviously, which is inc dot expression. I'll just multiply the same by 100 as it is in percentage. I'll just save this, close, save it. Okay, now you can check over here ratios. If we have already ordered the same, you can check. You can add these ratios in multiple places. So this is giving you the comparison that expense currently is 116% of your income. This is the reason we are under the loss. So we just need to manage it, how we can just reduce our expenses. After adding a column, there is a third option which we have just checked in the just we check when we go to the accounting reports over here is, let's say, the lines, columns, and the option. Option basically is the filters available. Let's say if you open any one of the reporting, let's say if I just go back to the, in this case, we'll just take the example of balance sheet. I'll just, okay, here, multiple options are there. So I'll just open the balance sheet up first. Okay, options. Okay, multiple options. So load more. First thing is the load more limit. So let's say there might be chart of accounts. So if I open this, there might be a case where your chart of account might exceed the number of, let's say the number 50 or 100, more than 50 or 100 chart of account. But you want to see only a limited number of chart of account. Let's say here, currently in our case, there is chart of account is more than, it's only 4, but let's say we just want to see 3 of them, and then want an option to load it more afterwards. So what we can do is, up to 3 records, we can add a load more options. Now when we go and check, there is an option of load more will be available. This can be used when you are having multiple chart of account under a single place. This can be done. Then the default opening, whenever you open this, you can directly go to the today's option. Okay, filters are available over here. You can enable the filter by directly going to the balance sheet. Let's say if I just go to the balance sheet, on the top filters are available. First is the date, comparison options, journals options. You want to check the drafted entries, posted entries, reporting. You want to change the reporting. Let's say it's your balance sheet as per the schedule 3 or anything like that. You want to add the currencies in the rupees, millions, thousands, something like this. Okay. What you can do is you can directly go to this under options. There is multiple filters available. You can enable this and disable as per your requirement. Let's say the partners are there. You want to see the balance sheet as per the partners. You can enable this. Save it. A new filter would be available on the balance sheet where you can just mention the partners over here. Okay. Now, one more thing which we just left is, let's say, if I just go to this reporting, balance sheet. Okay, so we are just left with this group by option which is available over there. Now, under receivables, let's say I just open balance sheet over here for the comparison. Okay, so currently we can check this balance sheet. Under this, we can see the receivable, but only see the account as debtors. Why? Because when we open the balance sheet under receivable, the group by option, account ID has been defined over here. Now, let's say further, under balance sheet, we also want to see under debtors, which are the debtors which is available to us. We want to see the name of the debtors. How we can do that is, we can directly go over there in the group by option. Account ID is already there. Account ID basically is the chart of account. And for the partner, let's say we can define after putting a comma, let's say I also want to see group by partner. I can edit over here, save this. Okay. I can directly go to the balance sheet, refresh it. Debtors, you will be able to see the partners under the same. Along also the load more option is there. Now here also, let's say, if I want to see further grouping, I also want to see the invoices for each and every of the partner. In the balance sheet itself, I want to go to the drill down. The group by option is available over here. I can just put a comma over here, put invoice ID, let's say like this. Now when we check the balance sheet, I'll just refresh this. Okay, now if you can check, invoices can also be checked over here at a single place. Okay, so this is how you can just change, add and apply multiple groupings at a single place over here. We have just also checked how you can use the filters options available. Now, let's say apart from this, when we go to the configuration, accounting reports, okay. Obviously, apart from each and every records which are available, the reports which are available, you can add a new, you can create a new reporting as per a requirement. Let's say you can just go with the new, click on, put the name over here, add the lines, multiple things, and you can just save it. Let's say if you are also created the same report in your spreadsheet, or let's say in Excel file, which I will already create, I'll just show you the same. Okay. What I've done is I've just created one of the financial statements, the P&L and balance sheet as per the schedule 3, where I would just define the same things. Let's say I would define the name of the line, the name of the column, the formula of the line, the computation engine of the line. I have defined the same. Now, once we have defined it, what you can do is, here, you can directly import the same file. While you just upload, just select the same file, select the thing which you want to import. Okay, test, import this. Okay, a new report would be imported. So say just like this, if you are having a template ready, you can directly import a new record over here. If you want to add a new reporting, which you want to see in the reporting, there is option. You can directly add, go to the actions button, create item menu. Now you'll be able to see the same thing, profit and loss as per schedule 3 over here also. Okay, that's how we can use the multiple options which is available. Now, relating to the QR, the pad which we have shared, I'll just answer the same into the pad itself. After this, we are having a AMA Ask Me Anything with our accounting experts. You can ask any of your questions over there. If you have any questions in this or in previous sections, you can directly ask our experts over here. Thank you for this.